There we go. That is Richard Strauss with the Rosenkavalier Suite, the opening there from, and I just thought I'd play that up as far as the cello solo bar to welcome you along to the Bristol Hum with me, Billy Quain, here on Bristol Community 93.2 FM, live until 2 p.m. Many thanks to Alec Milne. That was an outstanding trip down Piratical Memory Lane. Nice one, Alex. And you get to make radio programmes in the pub, so that's always good too. And some fantastic sea shanties to boot. Alex will be back again next Thursday morning, rest assured, probably with more seafaring and tales of daring do. On today's Bristol Hum, I have an enormously busy show, as you have now come to love and expect. Outside the studio is Tony Smee, who is currently playing Somerset Maugham at the Brewery Theatre. We will be talking to him in about 10 or 15 minutes or so. Sat opposite me in the Bristol Hum studio, we have got Barbara McConochie, who is the principal oboe for the Brandon Hill Chamber Orchestra, celebrating 25 years of outstanding music making by this Saturday evening performing the Richard Strauss Rosenkavalier Suite and Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto No. 2 at St. George's on Brandon Hill. I've also been catching up with Hannah Cluan, the founder and director of the Gathering Voices Festival of Song. Jude Merrill, the artistic director of Travelling Light Theatre Company, carved out a couple of minutes to have a chat with me about their brand new season and exporting plays to London for Christmas. I've also been up to the Wardrobe Theatre to talk to Hecate Theatre Company all about The Graveyard Slot. It's their brand new radio play, which they're performing in front of an audience of 40 until Saturday evening. Also, Kat Lewis carved out a little bit of her time. She's the PR officer down at the Creative Common, and we had a little reflection on how their first season in their new home went. You can still see the amazing Invisible Circus Happiness Machine, their end of season soiree finale and party until 21st of October. Anyhow, that's enough of an intro. We've also got some amazing music. I've also got a little bit more interview, and Yari Moat from the Festival of Literature is coming in to speak to me in person, live in the studio at 1 p.m. Festival of Literature kicks off tomorrow, I do believe. But now, without further chat from me, may I welcome Barbara McConochie to the Bristol Hum studio. How are you this morning, young lady?
Very well, Billy, and glad to be here in this busy morning for you.
Dare I say it, good afternoon. Terrible. Thank you for bringing along the Strauss. Tell me, first of all, what brought you and your sis, because Katie is in the first violin section, yes, into the orbit of the Brandon Hill Chamber Orchestra?
Well, it was more that we brought the Brandon Hill Orchestra into the orbit. Katie started up the orchestra more than 25 years ago now, and we've been running ever since. So I was given the position of coming in as principal oboe because I was able to bring with me some players that I knew from my professional oboe playing, and together over the 25 years it's been team effort, working, planning programs, finding new musicians, encouraging young people through introducing new and different music to the Bristol audiences, and it's been a wonderful journey to be able to share with a family member. And our orchestra boasts several teams. We've got two sisters in the cello section, we've got a brother in the violins and brother in the cello section, so we're not unique, but it is a very family business, which is lovely, which is how music making should be.
I couldn't agree more. Now, I must admit, I participate in a couple of the rival orchestras about the town.
No rivals, we're all friends in music.
Well, that's just it. For a city of the size of Bristol, there are probably, excluding the university orchestras, about 12, maybe 15 orchestras that are going all year round.
And this is fantastically healthy and how it should be. My feeling, though, is that what we have to do as orchestras in Bristol is make sure that we are bringing on the new generation, the youngsters, to the audience. And that's something we're working very hard at. It's been fantastic. Now we've celebrated 25 years to take the time and reflect on where we're going next with the orchestra. And that's one really of our mission statements. So we started already setting aside a bank of tickets for youngsters to come so that they can sit in places where they've got good visibility. They can actually come to a pre-concert chat, because we're very aware that parents want to learn about music to teach their children. So before our concerts, we have a little introduction. On Saturday, I'm talking about the oboe. Our very fine visiting principal cellist, Christine Johnson, is explaining the cello, and we've kindly got Mark Petrie, who's going to talk a bit about the trombone, so that we can really, kids can get close up and dirty with instruments, actually maybe have a little look, poke about, ask questions, and also have it related to the music. So this is something that we think is actually going to build what we hope will be our audience for the future, because we don't want to do it just for ourselves, we want to pass it on.
I quite agree. Very articulately put. One of the things a lot of people will, first of all, dismiss about going to see classical music is that they don't understand it. And one of the other things that surprises a lot of people, in my experience, about the live experience is just how loud it can be, but also how quiet.
Yes. And I think it's the how quiet it is that scares people, because people are used to, in their busy lives, having music on in their headphones, having music on when they travel, having music on in the background. But I would really encourage people to do as you say, to experience the live notion, because you can listen to well-known music and enjoy it. But when you actually go and see, for instance, the Rachmaninoff that's coming up, the huge scale of the work, actually to listen how quietly we play when we're accompanying the beautiful piano solo lines, and actually seeing how loud we play when we're playing orchestral tutti, you know, perspiration, dust coming off the bows. It really is a big and fantastic experience, and I think that's really what people should come and see. Yes, listen to as much music in your homes as you like, but let's really value the live experience.
Now I'm going to play us an extract from the very beginning of the said Rachmaninoff, because this, I think, is a very good example of the shift in dynamics that you just mentioned. I'm not taking this miles out of context, folks, but the piano starts a long way away. So there we have it. There's just a little example of starting nice and quietly and then getting truculent. But even that just only got up to about halfway, Barbara.
Yes, if that, yeah.
A lot of people will be very familiar with that riff, because it peppers an awful lot of the soundtrack to our lives without necessarily us realising what it is.
Yes, and this is one of the reasons we wanted to play something as well known as the Rachmaninoff, because it is all up there in the Classic FM. We've all heard it from Brief Encounter. Do people want to come and hear this live? This is something that we would like to debate with the bigger public. When we put on programmes, we try and choose what we would like to play as an orchestra and what the public would like to hear. But we're a juggernaut. It takes a long time in the planning, booking a soloist ahead. And so we're already planning for our 2014 programmes. So this is a good opportunity to say to people out there, what would you like to hear from us? We've got a Facebook page. We're open to any suggestion. What we normally do is, when we speak to our conductors, we say, what would you like to play? And do you have a soloist? Can you bring a friend that would like to play with us? And somehow that grows. And for instance, the Strauss that we heard, that we opened with, you won't get a chance to hear that in Bristol very easily. It's a very, very big work. It comes from a 5-hour opera. So this is a chance to really come along, and we offer you the chocolates from the box. You don't have to work hard to listen to this, but I almost would guarantee that anybody that hears the suite on Saturday night will want to go and hear the full 5 hours worth of Richard Strauss. And it is very confusing for everybody, because they think Strauss is all about waltzes. No, there's 2 Strauss families, so don't get your Richard and your Johann muddled up, because Richard Strauss is the real deal. So there's still tickets. People can come along, and anybody that comes having heard this radio programme should come to the crypt and talk to us afterwards, because we are part of the Bristol community, and building on that all the time and want to know what people want to hear.
Very much. And of course the other element that I found particularly endearing about the Brandon Hill Chamber Orchestra is that you are quite a sociable bunch as well.
Thank you for that vote of confidence. Yes, we know how to party.
Now you've mentioned that sometimes the conductor will have his 10 pence worth about what he would like on the repertoire.
Or she would like.
Well, indeed, because I was going to bring this up. Not that many female conductors a lot of the time.
No, and we're extremely lucky and extremely happy to be working with Eva Struenska. She is an absolute marvel. She comes from a European tradition, very highly trained, full of ideas. She's had us moving about the orchestra, sitting in different seats. She's had us singing parts. It's a very interactive way of conducting, but all based on fantastic musicality, incredible depth of technique and knowledge of the scores, with a wicked sense of humour. She's been an absolutely lovely person to work with, and we very much hope that she'll come back and work with us in the future.
Now, there are apocryphal tales about certain Polish composers who have suggested that certain players swap instruments. Not the same instrument, but it would be like yourself and Katie, for instance, you picking up Katie's violin and Katie playing your oboe. Please tell me this doesn't happen in your rehearsals.
It doesn't happen. There are many people who are gifted enough to play more than one instrument. I'm not one of those, but otherwise we stick at what we do best, which is contributing on our major instrument, definitely.
Fantastic. And, I guess for you as an individual, for all of you as individuals, it's something really that punctuates the week in a very constructive and a very enriching way to go out to rehearsal.
Yes, we don't actually rehearse on a weekly basis. We do it in a burst and a hunger. So we get the music, the dots, which we rehearse privately, and then we come in the end and we do an intensive period of rehearsal. The strings get extra time to make sure that they're absolutely squeaky clean and marvellous, and I have to say they're sounding fantastic at the moment, in really good heart, because we've this time managed to get some more new young players, which is always important. And that's the thing that I want to let you know. In my section of 12, Woodwind, this time we have 4 new players who are joining us who haven't played with us before, and that's fantastic to give people the broader opportunity. These are not untried musicians. They've all come with a good track record, but to be able to take them on to the level that I think we present our music at, I haven't yet got anybody, when I ring up and say, would you like to play? They'd say, no, thank you. They say, I'd love to, but I can't because I'm busy elsewhere. So that is something really that it's best that everybody knows out there. This is a caring, sharing orchestra, and we all want to get this best music we can from the best players we can.
So of the 4 young ones that you've brought in, were they ready? Had they done their homework?
Absolutely. And again, we're not ageist. Some of them are past what I would call their young years, but visitors. We've got a maths professor visiting Bristol who's been in the country for some time and is only just finding his way musically in the city, so welcome to him in the cello section. And somebody who's newly moved from Hampshire, a lady of a certain number of summers, similar to my own, I would think. And hello and welcome, and come and play with us anytime. So yes, we're not ageist and we're not instrumentalists. There's opportunities in all sections.
Fantastic. Get quite loud in parts, doesn't it? Barbara McConochie, the principal oboe from the Brandon Hill Chamber Orchestra, is with me, and we're discussing Rachmaninoff and Richard Strauss, both of whom you were playing on Saturday night at St. George's. Tell me how much I need to pay to come and see this.
There are tickets available, £15 and £13. If you're bringing children, then please come and let us know. Email me beforehand via the website, and we will make sure that children get tickets in a suitable place where they can actually see. One of the problems is sitting a kid behind a tall person, because St. George's has the most fantastic acoustic, but it doesn't have raked seats. So it's important that if parents are bringing children for the first time, that we get them to a place where they can maybe lean over the balcony and really see everything there is to see. So the best way to find the right ticket for kids on Saturday night is by emailing me off the web page, or barbaratheoboe@gmail.com. All the information information is there. So, and I'd be very pleased to see any children that want to come along to our pre-concert talk about the instruments. And this is, again, it's not just about so that you can find out how an oboe makes its noise or how cello strings work. This is actually to try and help with youngsters so that they key into what they're listening to later on. So we will be playing little extracts for instance, the Lutosławski, which we haven't talked about, which is a work based very much on chamber music. So quite an easy routine for kids to listen to the stick polka or the happy waltz, or all these different ideas which they will not struggle with because they're very easy, lively tunes to listen to. So building on all these elements, we hope that the audience will get a full, no matter what age they are, will get a full experience of how the concert is put together.
Are you excited about it?
I cannot tell you. I have waited so long to play this Strauss. We have a list in the orchestra which we call our Before We Die list, and it's pieces of music that we want to really have a chance of playing. And I have to say, Rosenkavalier Suite has been on top of my list for a very long time, so I'm endlessly grateful to the committee for allowing me to bring this to fruition. And I think on Saturday night, if you come, you'll hear the oboe serenading, you'll hear the story of the opera played out in a very short and intense 25 minutes of ravishing music without a break. You'll be wrung out, but come and experience it with us.
This is unkind, but is it ready?
It will be ready. We've got... Musicians are born ready. You take the opportunity. If this Saturday night is the only chance I'm ever going to get to play this, you bet I will be ready.
Superb. Barbara McConochie, it's been a genuine pleasure talking to you this evening. Remind me again, how many pounds and where I can get them?
£15 and £13. The box office, St George's, Brandon Hill, or go on to the website, Brandon Hill Chamber Orchestra, and you will see the links to the tickets there. Either way, we will look forward to meeting you and seeing you, and hope you're enjoying hearing us on Saturday night.
Thank you so much for coming in this evening.
Billy, it's been a pleasure.
Could you remind me very quickly, Brandon Hill Chamber Orchestra website?
Yes, and there is a Facebook page and Twitter. So www.brandonhillchamberorchestra.org.uk.
Superb. Barbara, thank you very much.
Thanks, Billy.
La mer